Good morning. Welcome to Smart Social Secrets Tips. I'm so glad to have you back. Guess I'll pull my mic up so that you can hear me. So glad to be here with you today because I think this is one of the problems, especially all of us have this problem. But if you're a creator and you create for other people, often this is one of the hardest things for you is to create your own content and get it out there. And so I'm just going to share some tips with you today to help you get over that, to get unstuck, to get your content out there, being to hear from you. And we want to make sure that your voice is heard and that you are set up in that way. So I'm so excited to have you here today. Let me know if you're here. I'm going to turn on my comments here so I can see. And let me know if you are here and have any questions as we go along. But I'm just going to dive right into this because, again, we don't all have a lot of time. That's part of the problem. So if you're watching this in replay, I totally get you. I get you a lot. I have the same problems. So, really, in the end of the day, we're still failing to create content sometimes, and especially if you're a creator for others, you can often beat yourself up about this. And so, I just want to start with that and just say, give yourself a little bit of grace because some of this is just you are overtaxed, over busy. Maybe you have too much on your plate. I totally get that. So, the tips I'm going to give you today will help you to overcome some of that, but also give you a practical way to do that. So, how do you get out of that slump when you just aren't creating the content you know you should be creating? You know, maybe in many cases, how to do it. Maybe you don't, but I'm going to go over that here in a minute as well. So, the first step really is what you do before. You're going to think about how you add value. Then you're going to overcome your procrastination and then you're going to get noticed. That's what we're going to do in the next 15 minutes or so. That's what I'm going to bring up to you and give you those steps, step by step, what to do. So, how do you add value? That's the first step. You, as a creator of content, have to add value to your audience. You have to be interesting or have some emotional, you know, laden with emotional your content, and maybe also be practical. So I like to be practical. That's just me. So how do you add value? That's the question. So let me just give you a couple of ideas. First of all, you're going to talk about your focus. So I have it up in the right corner there. What is your expertise and your passion? So again, if you can mix your expertise and your passion together, that is going to be much more interesting for your audience to listen to hear, to read about. And I'll talk about modes of publishing in just a second, because social media is really cool because you can do video, you can do written text, you can do graphics. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So you really want to think hard about how you're going to add value to your audience. Even in your stories, you need to be adding value with your stories. So what is your expertise and passion will also carry you through when you start to talk about it. So what is it that you can talk about no matter what? Like if somebody asks you a question about it, you have a lot to say, you've researched it a lot, you know a lot about it. Often it's the things, especially if you have clients, the things that you do for your clients. You may want to actually talk about the things that you love about that. Um, so you want to also think about what your method is to get other people results. And that's part of the focus. So what is your focus and what is your method to deliver results? And one of the ways that I love to do that are the famous sticky notes. And I will sit down and I will write out one. If you're having issues, you can do it on paper, but this really is awesome because you can put it on sticky notes and then organize them in front of you and put them into buckets. So most people can't manage more than 3, 4, 5 different steps. But you, I'm sure, are giving them many more steps and the things that you do. So instead of confusing them, having those 3 steps, just like today, we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about the way you can do this in 3 steps. One is really about this focus and about this adding value to your group. The second thing we're going to be talking about is overcoming procrastination with this. So let me move to that. We can talk through that real quick because I think this is why you came. How do you overcome the gap? You know, how do you get over this gap where you're just not getting enough content out there and you know you should be? So, yeah, you see what's on the other side. You maybe even know how to do it, but you just are not making the time. You're not getting over the hump. Okay. So, the first thing is really about accountability. There's about 4 steps you need to get through this particular part. The first one is accountability. You need to pick a time and put it on your calendar. I'm not joking. Right now, I want you to open your calendar and I want you to pick 1 hour during the week where and make it repeating every week, the same hour, where you will be thinking about these things, that hour is going to be dedicated to creating content, thinking about content, promoting your content, whatever that is at that particular moment. So that 1 hour is really important. Anybody has 1 hour. I know that many of us, like, sit on the couch, we watch a television show at night, or I play a game. There is some time in your schedule, even if you don't think so, because it is there. So you need to prioritize it, and that's how you do it. You put it on your calendar and you put a recurring calendar event there, and that's where you go. Now, one of the things that happens a lot is maybe you've already done that. Maybe you've put that calendar event on your calendar a year ago and you still haven't created anything, or, not as much as you want. And so the second part is accountability. So having another person or a group to be accountable with is really, really important. And I think I talked last week, it was last week, I think, about how to that, doing it on your own is like a huge problem. And that's really what this is that we often don't ask for help. We often don't ask for advice, but this is just straight up like, are you sitting at your desk and are you getting something done? In our mastery program, I definitely do that. We have like 1 day a week where we sit down, like it's a Wednesday, and we just basically jump on a Zoom and then we turn the Zoom camera and audio off, and then everybody works straight out for an entire hour. And at the end, we come back and say, okay, this is what we accomplished. It's really a benefit to you to do something like that, to have an accountability partner that's willing to do that with you, or join a group like ours or whatever. But you need to have some sort of accountability to another person that is checking on you and that you are checking in with each other. So I do think it's great to have an accountability partner like that. So that's number two. And then number three, definitely you want to figure out what kind of content you're going to create. So it can be different every time. It doesn't always have to be the same. I do this live stream every Thursday. This is the basis for all of the content in my agency. We do this live stream. My team writes it up as a blog post. We put it out like that. And now we're even making them into carousels on Instagram at Smart Social Mastery. So if you follow me at Smart Social Mastery, you'll see some of these come out as carousels. So it's a broad way for you to do that. So I like video. I like doing this because I can just come up with an outline, come on here, talk to you, and then we can turn it into like reams of content. So that's what I like. But if you hate video and you're like, I am not going on a video every week, no, that's fine too. And you can write a blog post so that it can go the opposite direction. What if you put together a blog post and then did short videos if you wanted to in the future based on your blog posts, or never video? I don't know. Or your videos don't have to be you. It can be like stories videos, for stories, if you're in Instagram, or if you are, wanting to do one on YouTube, you can do YouTube stories now. It's crazy, but kind of true. So in the end of the day, this is a way for you to, decide what you want. So it doesn't matter if you love to write, go for writing. If it does this, and if you're watching this on LinkedIn, lots of people do, you can actually publish blog posts on LinkedIn. One of our Smart Social Mastery students is doing that. He's started to use LinkedIn as his blog. So it's a really great way to go. Anyway, so choose what you want to do and then batch create. Batch creating is so critical. And so once you have a method, remember we talked about a method in the last section. So say you had a method of 4, 5, 6 things that is your process, then you can actually brainstorm topic ideas for each step. So step 1, what are your 5 ideas that you would talk about in step 1 of your process? Step 2, what are the 5 ideas that you would talk about in that step of your process? Step 3, 4, 5, and on and on. So you can come up with many, many, many ideas very quickly. We're going to be doing an instant authority workshop in September, and I haven't gotten it up quite yet, but I will in the next week or so. But if you are interested in that, that is a couple of hours where we're going to do that, where we're going to sit down and you are going to come up with your method and you are going to come up with all of that content. Again, accountability, that's a free thing, by the way. So if you are interested interested in instant authority, let me know, like DM me, leave me a comment, and I will definitely reach out to you and let you know when that is live. But that is something that you want to do like regularly, like sit down and make content ideas for yourself. And you can generate enough for the entire year in just a couple of hours. So I feel like that is something that, you need to think about is being smarter, like working smarter and not harder, I guess is the best way to put that. And so brainstorming those 5 things you would want to tell someone about each step of your process is really easy way for you to get a lot of content very fast. And then I would batch create that content. For me, I sit down and I make an outline. I make an outline for these videos. So I'll sit down and make 3 or 4 outlines for videos and I get ahead of it. Then I'll go and I'll create the thumbnail and get it all put together and put it into our we use ClickUp, which is a program that lets me do all of that kind of stuff on the back end and also work with my team. So if you don't have a team, which I didn't for years, you can just put it in there and you can actually work it for yourself. So it really does help you if you have this underway. Okay, cool. So that being said, that is the second part. The second stage is accountability and batch creating. So that is how you get that done. And the best way to do it is put it on your calendar and, get an accountability partner. And we're a little bit too precious too, by the way, with our content. Sometimes I have people that will hold on to their content for way too long. Doesn't have to be the perfect piece of content. It just needs to get out there so you can have a conversation. So I think people don't realize it's not so much about the content you put out there, but the conversation that it causes you to have with your audience or with people that are listening in. You want to have that conversation. In fact, please leave a comment. Please ask me questions. I love that. But you want to have that conversation with people, whether it be like in real time like this, or like if you're watching this in the replay, I definitely go back and answer all the questions and connect with you later, like today or tomorrow or next week. So keep that in mind too. It doesn't have to be in real time. It can be the conversation that it causes. Also, if somebody asks you a question, you've probably created a piece of content about it that you can then send them and say, this, I wrote something about this, or I did a video about this here. Please go take a look at that. In fact, I was talking about the process, your method. 2 weeks ago, I did a method sort of live stream. We talked about really just doing that. So if you go to YouTube and then do /C like channel and another / and then Cami Chat, KAMICHAT, you'll be able to find some of those old videos there that have all of that information in it. Or just send me a message and I'll send you the method video that I did. So anyway, that's the key, is that you want to keep creating conversations with your audience. So yeah, there you are. And then, how to get it out there. So publishing is so important. I told you that you don't want to hold on to things for too long. You want to get things out there. You want to get your ideas going. There's something that I've been a blogger a long time. I started blogging in 2005. And one of the things we used to talk about is the unfinished blog post. And the idea is that you leave some space for people to have comments. So, for example, if you basically say, here's the way to do it, and there's no other way, and there you go, and you don't leave any space for people to add to what you've talked about, they won't. They'll just read it, they'll consume it, and they'll move on. But if you put something in there, and maybe even if you don't have everything in there, and somebody says, well, you missed this, and you should think about this, that starts a conversation. So the unfinished blog post is just as powerful and might even spur people to start to connect with you more than just the authoritative, I know everything blog post or video. So yeah, if you have any ideas about that, like how can people publish and get seen, that's great. The main one that I use that I think is very helpful is highlighting other people in your content. So you can actually talk about other people in your content and then tag them about it and say, hey, I chatted about you, or I highlighted you in this, or you can share their content. So you don't always have to make all the content yourself. So again, like I make one piece of content a week, but I share other people's content all the time. We do a lot of sharing of content, especially on Twitter, now X, Twitter X. We've done a lot of sharing of other people's links there. and I'm starting to do more here too. So again, having that kind of share economy is really cool because then people start to pay attention to what you are doing because you pay attention to what they are doing and take an interest in them. And so I think that's one of the biggest things you can do with content creation, honestly, is to go and comment on other people's stuff because you can comment about what you got out of it, what you liked, and you can really make a connection with people in that way that lasts like decades. I have friends from my early blogging days that we still are connected in so many ways. It was pretty funny when Threads opened up on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. It just flooded in with all of these what I'd called OGs or originals from the time that I was first blogging when we all were just chatting with each other. And now we're over in Threads doing that right now. That's not gotten super popular yet, so it's pretty fun at the moment. If you're interested in that, let me know. I'm on Threads and anywhere else on social media that you can find me at Cami Chat, KAMICHAT. Yeah, if you just put that in Google, it pops up everywhere too. So again, those are the three ways that I feel like you can get there. Is to really find the before, the during, and the after, add that value, figure out what your value is and your method is, then take that and create content around your method by taking each step of your method and coming up with 3 or 4 ideas for each, and then sit down on your hour every week with your accountability partner or on your own and write or video or whatever that one topic and then go maybe down the line. I mean, one of the coolest ways you can do it is just go down the line of your method, do one of each, batch them, and then do another one of each of different kind of a different thought on that. So you can just keep using that over and over and over again. One of the things that I have, and I'll show you mine. This is my method right here. I will open it so you can see it. This is my method called the Pathway to Social Media Mastery, and it's the 6 steps of that, which is explore, which is a lot about, I told you, finding your why and who you are. Connector is really about building your online audience and who those are and finding them. And then architecting your platform. Like, what is your platform? What is it going to be? What are you going to choose to use as far as social media platforms and where you're going to be? And then your brand voice and all that. And then the creator part is what I just talked about, is creating that content reliably every single week. And then that attractor stage is really of the funnel. Like when they come back to your website, what do you do with them? How do you get them into your world if they're interested in working with you? And then finally, innovator is really whenever you are recreating yourself, which we always are, and how to do that to get back to explore again. So it actually goes in a circle. I put them across here so you could read them. But I did do a free mini workshop called the Pathway Video Series. And if you go to bit.ly/pathway video series, all lowercase, you can grab that for free and watch those 6 videos and get that, just get an idea of what each of these steps are and how you can apply them to your business. So again, that's free to you. It's really great for people that maybe don't have time, for example, to come to an instant authority workshop, or you want to do something on your own time. What's really cool about those videos too is you can change the speed of them. So if you need to go faster through the videos or whatever, you can. But they're all about a half an hour or less long each, and they give you a very detailed description of how you can put this all together for your business. So anyway, that is all for today. I hope you guys are having a great one. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will definitely answer them and give you any kind of feedback that you want. So I'd love your feedback. I love your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will talk with you soon. Take care.